the employment challenge, particularly the youth employment. Number 5, what we call inclusive growth, not leaving anyone behind. When we looked at sectors that we need that give us the biggest bang for buck, which ones can get us on that road as quickly, what was mentioned as quick wins or early harvest, or whatever you want to call it. Dairy comes out as number 1. It does all those things. And it can do them very quickly. Yeah? Why? So he said, we are looking for the biggest bang for buck. What gives us the highest impact with the shortest time, with the least amount of investment to hit those 5 things? Cost of living, revenue, foreign exchange, jobs, inclusive growth, which means leaving nobody behind. Dairy ticks, each one of them. Why? Because we have 5 million daily cows. We're the biggest milk producers in Africa, but the average productivity is only 3 liters per cow. So we have the animals. We know from experience that if you feed a cow better, there's no cow whose potential is 3 liters. A bit of zebus, a few of them, but not the cows we call dairy. So if you feed your cow properly, it will give you 1 extra kilo. If it is unhealthy, it will lose 2. Everybody who knows about dairy knows cow is sick, how much you lose. And thirdly, if you have better breed of cow, you can get, there's some cows with potential for 5, for 10, up to 40. So we identified 3 prior interventions to unlock the dairy sector to do all those things. Number 1, nutrition. If our cows, if we double the food, we get double the milk. The reason why we are not feeding our cattle, because of cost and also supply. The cost of feed is expensive. Number 2, husbandry. That speaks to animal health. Animals shouldn't be getting sick, but even when they get sick, drugs shouldn't be so expensive, and vets should be available. Number 3, if you have a cow whose potential is 5 liters, you do AI with a better breed now, in 3 years, you will have a cow whose potential is 15 or probably 20 liters. So we can see a very, very steep runway for the dairy sector. If we agree that we can double our milk production, if we export half of that milk, from 5 billion liters to 10 billion liters, export 2.5, at the current global price of about 40 US cents per kg if you take powder. If you do that math quickly, it will give you over $1 billion. That is how much we earn from tea or flowers. So an industry which is almost 100 years old, tea, we have grown it to $1 billion a year. We can get dairy to the same point within 3 to 5 years. There is no other sector which offers such incredible opportunity to do those 5 things. And I think the people in this room, if we are thinking about particularly the export industry, obviously the route to market is brands. Yeah? I shared an office 30 years ago with a gentleman who was working for the World Bank, but 10 years before, he had been corporate planning director for KCC. And he told me something I don't think many of us know. In the late 70s, KCC was planning to put a bid for Nestle, because KCC was bigger in milk export than Nestle. So they had gotten financiers who were willing to finance KCC to buy Nestle's milk export business. Then things went this way and that way. So we've been there. Our brands are known out there. We have the infrastructure. We have the capability. We have the farmers. What we need to do is just put all those pieces together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, Your Excellency, I'll call Ms. Margaret Kibogi, the Managing Director of our Kenya Dairy Board, to give a very brief overview of our dairy subsector. Karibu, MD.
Your Excellency, sir, the Governor of Nakuru County, the CSS present, PSS present, Chairman, Kenya Dairy Board, the processors present. I'm only going to give statistics of the dairy sector, starting with the value. The estimated value of the industry is 266.7 billion. I think higher than tea, than coffee, and the other sectors. So, David D., you're very right that this sector is very, very important. In terms of what we produce, 5.2 billion liters, you're all aware. 45% we consume at home of that milk, which is about 2.3 billion liters. That's why we are high per capita consumers of milk in Africa. Kenyans consume a lot of milk. 55% of this is traded informally through the mini dairies, the dispensers, sold by milk traders, and out of that, 30% is handled by the processors here present today. We'd like to transform that sector to move as one of the targets of the sector to formalize this sector because it has a lot of benefits. We have, as a country, 40 processors. Today, we have 38 present here. Mini cottages, which we are supporting, we have about 200. We have 100 which are dispensers, and the milk bars, we have 1,000. These are supporting our small-scale farmers who are in different parts of the country. In terms of contributions, which you know directly in terms of employment, and indirectly and directly, we do about over 1 million. In terms of cost of milk production, the variable and direct cost is about 47, and on D, you have mentioned this. The highest contributor of this is processed feed at 13.5, followed by fodder at 7, fodder and feed 13 and 7.8, which is the highest contributor in terms of cost. We must actually intervene in those areas of processed. We also have issues of AI. Currently, sex semen, you get it in the market at 7,000, which is very high. It contributes about 10 shillings per liter. That is drugs, veterinary drugs, and artificial insemination. And we also have labor. Labor is still an issue, but we have interventions through the development areas of the sector. In terms of processing, that was at farm level. Processing, of course, the highest contributor is the farm gate pricing, which is about 55.5%, contributing to 55. The margin for the processors here present is about 5 shillings and 0.13. In terms of the cooling infrastructure, we have a total of 436 active coolers across the country that install capacity of 3.98 million liters daily. The utilization is slightly over 55%, but we want to rally our farmers to move there. In terms of formal intake, it has been growing, but because of seasonality of our sector, one year it has grown, the other year it has dropped. Last year, we dropped by a negative 0.6 compared to 2021, where we had processed over 800 million liters. In terms of installed capacity of our processors, we're at 5.2 daily installed capacity, 80% processing fresh milk, that is UHT. They're doing UHT 35 million liters daily, and they're doing 33 in terms of pasteurized. The rest goes to value-added cheeses, butter, and the high-valued products. So this is a liquid market. We want to grow into high-value products, that's the yogurts, the cheeses. We're still importing a bit of cheese because the demand for cheese is growing up because of our youth. In terms of producer prices, it has been consistently going up. Currently, we are at an average of 48.7, slightly dropped from 50 shillings, that is the farm gate price. And in terms of consumer pricing, it has been very, very consistent. It has not grown compared to the farm gate pricing. We are currently at an average of 112 per litre of pasteurized milk. When you compare 2016, we were at 107. So the growth there has been managed by these processors. In terms of value, it has been going up because of the cost of the formally marketed products. Export, we had a huge jump from 1.5 kgs to 18 million kgs last year. This is because of the conversation we had as a sector, and we started penetration because we want to achieve the 1 billion exports. And one of the areas that we're looking at is EAC, the market that has actually grown. The 18 million kgs that we have exported is UHT, cheeses, yogurt and flavored milk to Southern Sudan, Somalia. It is a growing sector that we are going to ensure that we build and even double this year, considering doubling the export market. In terms of competitiveness of our sector, this is an area that will require a lot of intervention. Globally, WMP, which is whole milk powder, that is highly traded globally, ours is the highest at 67.8%. Globally, 1 kg of milk powder is 441.6, while in Kenya, it is 740. We have to do some intervention to lower it so that we can compete globally, and it is very, very possible because we have identified areas of the cost. Basically, it is on feed. In terms of imports, within EAC, we are members of East African Protocol, and basically, most of the milk that comes to this country is from Uganda. We imported last year 71 million litres and 15 million kgs of whole milk powder. The 15 million whole milk powder is actually used for processing high-value products in EPZ for export to the UN agencies. But majority of our processors here are able to absorb and get from the two processors. We only have two processors who are able to produce milk powder. That is New KCC and Brookside. Those are the only processors out of the 40 who are able to do milk powder. That is it, Your Excellency, in terms of the statistics of the dairy industry. The processors will be able to give the interventions, and we are expecting an increase of milk in the market because of El Nino, and our request is to be allocated funds to be able to mop up the excess milk that we project to have a surplus of about 38 million litres for 3 months. This is only to the formal sector. So that's our request, Your Excellency, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Margaret. Now I'll invite the Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, the Honorable Mithika Linturi, to make his remarks. Karibu Waziri.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Governor Nakuru, my colleague ministers, PSs, the members of Parliament around, and the great men that are with us here. Mine is very brief. Your Excellency, if you allow me with a lot of respect and humility, let me thank you profusely for the support that you've continued to give our ministry and the farmers of this country at large, to the extent that now our farmers are able to really feel and realize the difference between the current administration and the other one. Number two, Your Excellency, I know that your agenda in increasing production and productivity is so key towards opening up or growing the economy of this country. And one of the areas that you've really identified is the dairy sector. And I want to mention that it is easy for us to succeed in that particular area, and the men and women that are here who are serious players and stakeholders in this dairy value chain are so key towards making this agenda or dream come to reality. Your Excellency, the farmers of this country, from what we've been able to share, or been able to hear from a number of people of that capacity and potential, what we only need and require is that continuing support so that the cost of production of milk per litre is realized. And we are happy that you've gone miles in ensuring that that cost is brought down, because you've extended even duty waivers for on the yellow maize and other inputs and other products that are required for animal feed production. The ministry's agenda in trying to commercialize and grow fonder will also be in a position to be able to bring the cost of production the cost of production per litre per milk. And I think if we were to get there, it wouldn't really matter how much or what price the milk will be going for, but will be about what margin people make after that sale of milk. So, Your Excellency, we want to thank you, and I want to mention again that our farmers are ready to work day and night to increase productivity and production of our milk, so that these gentlemen can really hand value to that milk, and then we can be able to satisfy our local demand and also be able to export and earn the foreign exchange that we highly require. So with those few remarks, Your Excellency, it's my honor and pleasure to invite you to address this gathering.
Thank you very much. Let's take our seats. I understand full well that the processors are largely private sector players, cooperatives, and to a very small extent, some that have a public interest. And I think David Ndii has told you what our plan is. We have identified this dairy sector as a very important sector for a couple of reasons. We believe that this sector is a sector that has the highest potential to turn around in a shorter time. Others are important. We need a bit more time. But this is an area where we have already what we can say both comparative and competitive advantage. We are already among the largest milk producers in the continent. Maybe the third, maybe the second, maybe the first. Sometimes it keeps swinging. Others overtake us once in a while. So we are among the best countries that produce milk in this continent. And it is because we already have livestock, and we have farmers, and we have, to an extent, some good measure of technical know-how and management capacity. We just need to see how we can build, the partnership and working together to elevate the productivity of our herd and increase the production of our country. It is valuable to us as a nation because it is the place where we can easily increase the incomes of many farmers and many Kenyans. As has been said, the same cows we have today that are producing 2, 3, 4, 5, we can double. The same herd, same farmer, same place, we can double the production just by making a couple of interventions. And we want to listen to some of the ideas you have, because we also are focused on this sector, and we have interventions that we want to put in place. We believe this is also a sector that can not only generate more incomes for Kenyans, it can also create significant levels of employment. We have so many young people that as government, we believe we should find opportunities for them to work. And dairy sector is one such sector, especially the whole value chain from production all the way to the market. It is also important to us, as was said by the Director of Dairy Board, that this is an area that can earn us foreign exchange. We all know that our GDP, export GDP as a percentage of our overall GDP has been going down. From, I think, 30% a while ago, we are now around 10%. And one of the areas that we can use to increase our exports is this dairy sector. And that is why it is very important for us to have this conversation. We are going to have conversations with other sectors and other stakeholders in this space. And because you are the primary people, you are ultimately the people who process our milk, it is important for us to engage you. And just to mention a couple of areas that we are doing as government. Number one, we are investing in the infrastructure for good semen, for purposes of getting good breeds that are both good for milk production and meat production. We are investing some resources in Kagrik. We are investing some resources in Kefefabi. And this year, we also changed the tax structure to support local animal vaccine production so that we can encourage more people to produce the vaccines that we use to manage the diseases around our livestock locally, that we produce them locally. Number two, we are focused also on the milk cold chain, because part of the challenge we've had is perishability of milk. And the longer milk takes to get to a cold chain facility, the lower the quality. And therefore, to manage quality, we are rolling out, I think it has been said here, we have 400 and how many? 460 milk coolers. Of those 460 milk coolers, 350 are actually public, which we acquired as government. We are again in the process of investing another 8 billion shillings to get another 650 milk coolers that will be distributed around the country. We want to agree with you on how can we derive the highest value from this investment, because it is going a long way in improving the quality of milk and the amount of milk that gets to your processors and gets to the market when it is good quality and when it is in a state that we can use not only to produce the other value-added products. And the better the quality of milk that get to the processors, the greater the opportunity for us to have high-end, value-added products that today, as has been said, we are even importing some of those products like cheese and others. And the greater it is, the possibility for us to tap into the huge export market that is available for our products, and so that we can also enhance our revenue. So at the heart of this conversation is quality of milk. What is it that we're going to do to make sure that we get the right quality of milk, we get the right quantity of milk, and that is why feed is also going to be another conversation that we are going to have. Already, we are working with some private sector players to see whether we can bulk the production of silage, hay, and other products so that we can make them affordable to many of our farmers, to increase their productivity, and so that we can make this whole industry sustainable, profitable, but we also use it to drive our revenues, both local and from exports. So this is the conversation I want us to have. What I was asking my team is that as we make all these interventions, we are investing in AI facility, we're investing in vaccine facility, we're investing in cold room facility, we are investing in supporting farmers, and everything that we are doing, what are the other stakeholders doing? What are the processors doing to support this whole endeavor? More specifically, how do we reorient the focus of processors away from just focusing on the consumer and where they sell, but also give due attention to the farmers who produce? Because without the farmers, this whole chain doesn't go very far. We are all aware that the farmers believe they are getting the short end of the stick. But we need to interrogate that. Is it the feed? Is it the productivity? Is it the quality? And how do we work together, government and private sector, to improve the productivity of our farmers, to improve the quality of the milk they are producing, and therefore be able to pay them better prices if everybody is getting a fair return? So this is the conversation that I thought we should have. And then secondly, I also want us to have a conversation about milk glut. We are all expecting El Nino. If the rain this afternoon is anything to go by, I don't know whether that's a sign of El Nino or just rain. And how do we manage this glut? And how do we use the capacities that we have, whether it is in production of powder milk or whatever other products that we think the excess milk can be used for? How do we make sure that that happens? Creating harmony in the industry and removing too much fluctuation within the industry and the milk prices. We are ready to work with you, either using the facilities, I don't know, commodity fund or whatever other fund that we have, to on lend to the processors so that you can have money to be able to buy the excess milk. But we must also, you must also explain to me, because this is public money, how you're going to return that money when you sell the products. Because in the past, we've given milk, we've given money for to manage the glut, but that money never came back. I don't know what happens to the what happens to the money after you sell the products. You have so we need to agree. You know, I am willing. I'm ready to provide money and resources for you to manage the glut, but we need to agree how that money becomes or gets back to the people's coffers so that we can make it available the next time we have another situation. So I was told that there are people here who want to speak to these issues, and I am ready to listen. So maybe somebody can come and manage the rest of the people who want to speak. Mweke, asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We have Mr. Kenneth Gitonga, who is the CEO of the Meru Central Dairy Cooperative, who will just mention a few things on behalf of the processors. Karibu.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency, the Governor of Nakuru, Cabinet members present, senior government officers, all protocols observed, good evening. Yeah, thank you very much. I want to take this opportunity to say we are very, very grateful, His Excellency, for inviting us. My name is Kenneth Gitonga. I'm the CEO of Meru Dairy Union. This is the first time we have been called by a sitting end of state to listen to us. And we are very happy as processors because it's a momentum we have never gotten. Number two, I want to thank you, His Excellency, and you are right. Dairy can change this country very quickly. For taking time even to visit some of us, you came to Meru, you went to Githunguri, you went to KCC, and you have called us. And we hope you are going also to visit the others to get the real picture on the ground. And we are sure this dream is going to come true, and you can count on our support. When we got this invitation, we met on Monday as processors, just to prepare ourselves on how to engage on this meeting. And we came up with a few points which we wanted to bring to your attention so that you can look at them and see how they fit in. Now, there's a common belief there that the farmers are getting a raw deal, or the processors are having the money, and the processors are feeling that they're not getting enough, or they're not getting money enough to cover their investments. So it's a cheese. Everyone believes blaming the other one. And we looked at it from the top to the last point. We have 5 points which we agreed on. And I think my colleagues will agree with me and also maybe support or agree. Now, number one is at the farm level. We looked at our farmers. We are paying our farmers 50 shillings. Currently, the average is 48 according to the MD, but they're still complaining. And then we're asking ourselves, how much should we pay so that they can be happy? After engaging and consulting and looking all over the world, we are seeing there's an issue on the costs, not actually the price, but the cost of production at the farm level. That is the main source of all these issues, because when the farmer produces at a cost almost over 50 shillings, we start already at a very high note, and down the value chain, we are not likely to compete out there. His Excellency, it is possible, and you have done research, to produce milk in this country at below 30 shillings. And if we can do production at below 30 shillings, there will be money for everyone. The farmer will get the money, the processor will get money, the government will get taxes, and all of us will be happy. And we will beat everybody in the world market. So we need to ask ourselves, what is this we need to do at the farm level? We have come with 2 suggestions. Number one, this farmer of ours producing 3 liters should be encouraged, number one, to increase the production per cow, and number 2, to increase the number of cows. If we just increase the numbers and the volumes, we are sorted. How do we achieve this? Production only requires land and water, and that's all, which we have. So if the government can support and encourage people who want to produce for export and for business, by even availing government land or other land, wherever we have, we can sort this problem at the source. And once we get it right at the farm level, the farmer maybe produces at 30 shillings, he makes his profit of 10 shillings, and maybe he gives us at 40 or whatever figure. We can go out there and compete and beat others. We are only surviving because of the protection the government is giving us of taxation of imports in this country. If you are to open the doors, there will be no sector today. For it to become sustainable, the cost of production to us, we felt, is a main issue to deal with. Number two, we looked at the processors. Processors is costing us about that 4 to 40 shillings to process a liter of milk. 17 shillings or 17% of it is going to packaging material. This is because all packaging material is being imported in this country, and plus the levies and the dollar, everything, 17 shillings is already gone. So it's like we use around 14 shillings or so. But if you want 50 shillings, because you can give the farmer 50 shillings, there will be transportation, there will be cooling. The milk comes to the factory at around 55 to 60 shillings, depending on where you are. So if you put in that 4, you're already at almost 90. And when it's already at 90, remember, we don't go to the shops. We have to use the wholesalers. We have to use the retailers. And then we make 5 shillings or less. Most of us, we are oscillating between 8 and 3. That's where all of us are. So the question is, how do we sort all this? We start very properly at the farm, and then we come up. Now, when you look at the export, the pounder produced in Kenya with the milk at our costs is costing at 760 shillings per kg, when the round is doing 400. In Uganda, it is 560. So already we are beaten before we even start moving. And unless we sort it out properly down here, then this export thing we are thinking about is going to give us a challenge moving forward. We're also looking at what is happening at the county level. Some of the counties are allocating very little budgets to agriculture or to livestock. I don't know what you can do, Your Excellency, to persuade, and I'm happy the governor is here, to allocate us some more resources on production and trying to see how we support this model, because agriculture is devolved, and that is where this game is being played. We also looked at the consumption. 2013 consumption was about 112 liters per person. Currently, it is at 78. Consumption is coming down. And we were very worried because the neighbors here, Uganda and Tanzania, they don't drink milk. But Kenyans will drink milk. So we would wish you to support us to persuade or to bring back the feeding program where milk is part of the project, because milk is full meal. And before we even think about moving out, a lot of people want to import here. But we can serve ourselves before we move out there and serve other people. So those 5 points is some of the areas we are feeling. If properly addressed, they can really help us to move this industry forward. And this industry will become automatically sustainable. We will go there, fight for our space, and things are going to be okay. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.